It's 102.7 KIIS FM. Sisanie hanging out with the number one DJ in the world. Can I say that? Yes. Armin van Buuren. Welcome.
How you doing?
How are you doing?
Very well. Well, relaxing.
I like your relaxed, casual, appearance that you came in today with your board shorts. Did you guys just come back from the beach, or what's the word today?
Well, I just did a massive tour in U.S. I went to Mexico Friday. Saturday was in Chicago. Sunday I was in Vegas. Monday I played Vegas, and last night I played Sutra.
Oh, in Orange County.
In Orange County.
Nice.
So today we're just sort of kicking back. This is the only work bit of today. Well, if you can call it work.
It's not even work, because we're just hanging out talking about music, which you love.
Mm-hmm.
And, you were just telling me about how you set up this stage for just females only.
Yes.
For this event. Can you kind of bring us back to what that was all about?
Well, I host a weekly radio show called A State of Trance.
Mm-hmm.
It goes on 60 FM stations and satellite radio and online and everything.
No big deal.
And I've been doing that for more than 11 years now. And to celebrate episode 550, I hosted 6 events around the world. We started in London, Moscow, Kiev, LA,
wow.
Miami, and then Den Bosch in the Netherlands, which was the big one because I'm from the Netherlands. So
yes,
we had a big event
with a big boom in
your
hometown,
so
right?
Yeah, we did 30,000 tickets. It was sold out.
Wow.
And we had 5 rooms, which were all broadcasted for free over the internet.
How cool is this?
And I made it, I've always made a point out of there's not so many female DJs out there.
Mm-hmm.
And women have a great taste in music. That's why I'm so happy to see that you're hosting this show.
So who were some of the female DJs that you had on that stage and stuff?
Well, we had a combination of singers, a singer and a DJ.
Nice.
So, for example, Miss Nine, Christina Sky, who's from LA.
Okay.
We flew her to the Netherlands. We had live performances from Jaden, Emma Hewitt, and
Nice.
many more. So it was kind of an experiment, really something I wanted to try and to see if people would be into such things.
I think so, especially guys.
Well, there's so much. I think women have great taste in music.
Yeah,
and,
definitely. I know Nadia Ali came in a few months ago, and you've obviously worked with her and
yes.
and stuff.
Yes,
she's
amazing.
awesome.
Yes,
so
amazing.
Just going back to female DJs and in the industry and stuff like that. How do you feel about EDM crossing over here to America? And just did you even have the idea that it was going to have this big of an impact that it has?
Well, I'm from Europe, so I'm just going to say we knew.
Yes, you're like, we've been trying to tell you guys for years.
No, it's great. I think the way it's received here in the US is different than in Europe. In Europe it's been around for a while, and
yes.
right now it's really hit commercial daytime radio. You can feel it everywhere. You can feel it in Vegas. You can feel it with the massive events that are here. I think it's great because it opens doors for all of us. I'm not necessarily too happy with the commercialization of everything, but I think if you look at the big perspective of everything, it opens doors for all genres of EDM.
Of course.
If you have the commercial dance on the radio, kids get interested in the deeper genres of EDM as well. So that's what I'm very happy about.
And how do you react to your fans and how much they love you and your music and stuff like that? Like, how does it feel awesome?
I'm very fortunate. I'm a lawyer. Actually, I finished my law degree.
I was gonna get to that. How did you go from getting a law degree to music?
Well, I never wanted music to be sort of my income. I always wanted to do music just for the love of music.
Like a hobby.
Yeah, the hobby fact. And I didn't want to have the stress of having to perform or having to create a hit song or having to make to pay rent.
Right.
So I finished my law degree also to make my parents happy. It was kind of a deal I had with my dad. He wasn't really into dance music. So he was like, you can do whatever you want as long as you finish your degree. And I did. That's
pretty funny. My parents kind of gave me the same scenario. They were like kind of scared of me going into radio. They were like, you got to finish your degree. And I did. And worked out in the end, right? Your hobby has turned into your career.
Which is what I love. Fantastic, yeah.
And how do you manage to, you were saying you had those 6 shows with 3 different continents or something like that, and I don't even know how long. How do you manage to still be a family man? Because you are married, and
I know.
You got a baby girl?
Yep, beautiful daughter named Fenna. She's turning 11 months this month.
Does she get to travel with you sometimes?
No, I prefer to have. Actually, the fact that I have a more of a family life now makes me more productive in my professional life.
I bet.
Because you don't fool around anymore. I don't go to bars. I don't hang out too much anymore, which, I'm sad about a little bit because I miss my friends. But I think I'm more focused now, and I really try to spend a lot of time with my family. Right now, I'm in the U.S. for 3.5 weeks. That's really hard. Thank God for Skype.
Yes.
So I Skype a lot with my wife, and I see my daughter there. And it's not easy for my wife, of course, but she knows that I have to be here. I'm here now talking to you. I'll be doing a lot of studio work here. I'll be touring everywhere from the East Coast, West Coast. I've been to Toronto. I've been to Mexico. I'll do a lot of promo. So everything I try to cram into 3.5 weeks, and then I go back and I have 2 weeks of family time.
So that's why she just knows it's kind of like a chunk at a time that you'll be gone instead of like being gone every weekend per se.
Yeah.
So how has it been here in America for the past couple of weeks? You've been seeing some of your friends and actually kind of letting loose a little bit, or?
Awesome. Well, no, I started at EDC New York.
Okay.
We broadcasted from EDC.
And that was the first time they did EDC in New York, right?
Yes.
So that was like a big, huge deal. I was listening to it on Sirius XM.
Yeah, it's just incredible. I mean, I always used to play Electric Zoo, and I think that's still an amazing event. But I made a hard decision and decided to go with EDC because it's, I think, a little bit younger crowd. And
definitely,
I really want to get the younger crowd to listen to trance music.
That's smart. You got to get them while they're young and keep them until they grow up.
And I must be amazed. I must say I'm amazed because I've been coming to New York for so many years. I did shows at Roseland Ballroom, shows at Pasha.
Yeah.
I've lost count, and I think New York really deserves a scene like this, an event like this, Electric Daisy Carnival. And it's another sign that tells you that, young kids nowadays when they're growing up, they're not listening to hip hop or pop music. They're listening to dance, to EDM. And
yeah, they are.
Cool.
And if the DJs incorporate hip hop artists into their songs, then it's kind of like a mix, and that's kind of what's happening as well, like on the radio with, top 40 and everything. So compare different festivals like America, EDC, Ultra Music Festival to like maybe a Tomorrowland in Europe.
I think it's sort of similar right now. I don't think you can really say that there's a difference between countries so much anymore.
Okay.
Because, if you go to EDC or if you go to any event Ibiza, you find so many different people from different cultures. You'll find people from Brazil, you'll find people from the US, and this is kind of a new thing as well. People travel more, and they know what's up, really.
Yeah.
So you see the same lineups at all the events around the world. So a lot of people ask me, what is your favorite country to play, or what's the difference between the US and Europe? And I'm like, you know what? Ever since internet and since we travel so much, of course there's small differences, and in the US it's still pretty new and fresh. So that's kind of the only difference, but it's not that much of a big difference anymore.
That's true. I mean, we went to Coachella, was it a few months ago, and everything was on the internet the next day of like all the performances, like Swedish House Mafia and stuff like that. It's just kind of, I wouldn't say like kills the experience, but if you can't go to these shows, then it's at your fingertips on the internet. And
that's great, I think, and that's one of the beauties of internet. I mean, there's a little bit negativity about internet, about all the illegal file sharing and stuff.
Right.
But I think this is the good thing, and this is definitely not something we should kill, and I'm here to promote for sure.
Well, and I mean, it's probably just the best way to stay in touch with your fans.
Absolutely.
With Twitter and stuff like that. It's just the immediate reaction that they get.
Absolutely, yeah.
So who is somebody that you maybe want to collaborate with next or work with?
You know what? That's always a hard question. I mean, of course, I have a small list. I mean, Chris Martin of Coldplay and Bono from U2.
Okay, these are good.
But I think, for me, what is most essential, I'm working on my new artist album right now, and I work with some really, really big names. But I want to stress that for me, it's all about the song at the end of the day. I mean, if you work with a really, really big artist, let's say Madonna or something, and the song is not good, it's not going to be a hit just because it's Madonna. It'll draw some attention, but if it's not a good song, it won't be a hit.
So do you finish the song first and then you find who you want to collaborate with?
I don't have a golden way of working. Every song that I've there's never been a song that I've created in the same way,
Okay.
I always start with different things. Sometimes I start with a bass line. Sometimes I start with a lyric that's in my head. Sometimes I start with a guitar and a piece of paper on my kitchen, in my kitchen table.
Yeah.
So I don't like to work in a standard way,
Do you have a setup at your house, like your own studio in there and stuff like that?
Yeah, I bought a beautiful big house 3 years ago. I was able to go back to the place where I was born, in Leiden in the Netherlands, which is about 20 minutes south of Amsterdam.
Okay.
and bought a huge place and built a studio in my garden. And I have a beautiful view of my garden. I have a lot of light, fresh air, big coffee machine,
Yes.
2 big speakers.
That's all you need.
That's all you need.
Don't talk to me for like 2 weeks.
I know.
Awesome. Well, where can we find you? Obviously, your Twitter and stuff like that. Shout it out to your fans. And
Well, if you want to know more about me, check out my Facebook page, Armin van Buuren, or I'm on Twitter as well. All the information on the website.
Definitely.
That's a bit old school though, but arminvanbuuren.com for all
Yes.
your latest updates and to see where I am next couple of weeks. And if you want to know about my radio show, it's called A State of Trance, and you can find that through my website as well.
And he's going to be in, I'm seeing here, Chicago, Minneapolis, Miami, San Francisco, Vegas. So you are busy for the next, I guess, week or so.
Yes.
Right? When do you fly home?
I fly home on June 10th, and then I take 2 weeks off.
There you go. Well, enjoy, the rest of your trip here in the States.
Thanks.
And, have fun when you go home and see your baby girl and your family and enjoy your time off. It's been a pleasure meeting you, all right?
Awesome. Thank
you
you
so much for stopping by. Armin van Buuren is 102.7 KIIS FM.